Welcome to this new edition of the information. Here are the titles. Pascal Afin-Guesson was released this Wednesday by the Ivorian Justice, arrested on November 6 for having participated in the National Council of Transition, supposed to replace the regime of President Ouattara. He was, however, placed under judicial supervision. And in Uganda, a campaign meeting was dispersed by the police, led by the artist turned into politician Bobi Wine. He was once again arrested by the authorities. But before developing these titles in Ghana, the opponent John Mahama persists and signs he will be the winner of the presidential election of December 6, and determined to prove it, the latter has launched a legal appeal against the re-election of his competitor Nana Akufo-Addo, a request that comes a few days after the demonstration led by his party, the National Democratic Congress. The Ivorian opponent Pascal Afin-Guesson is a free man detained since November 6. He was released this Wednesday. However, the leader of the Ivorian Popular Front has been placed under judicial supervision. He was arrested following the creation of the Transition Council, considered as a parallel government by the authorities. Still in Ivory Coast, Ivorians are expected to go to the polls on March 6 to elect their deputies, a date for the government conform to the constitutional calendar, especially in view of the opening of the next parliamentary session scheduled for April. Let us now take the direction of Uganda, where the opponent Bobi Wine has again been prevented for campaigning. He was arrested in the district of Kalangala, one of the few districts where the campaign is not banned because of COVID-19, a topic from the editorial staff. As the election deadline of January 2021 approaches, in Uganda, Robert Kyagulanyi, better known as Bobi Wine, continues to bother. Less than a week after the clashes and the death of a supporter at the meeting, the artist turned politician was arrested near Lake Victoria. The police denied the arrest in a press release.
We would like to clarify that the candidate was restrained for continuously holding massive rallies amidst the increased threats of coronavirus, in total disregard of the Electoral Commission and Ministry of Health guidelines.
It must be said that relations between the regime of President Yoweri Museveni and the opponent are stormy. The latter has in fact been arrested 3 times in the space of 2 months, under the pretext of respecting the measure related to the fight against COVID-19, and this last interpellation is no exception. Although the country is currently living at the time of the election campaign, Ugandan voters will be reminded to go to the poll on January 14 to elect their president, election which, by the way, has been banned from international media coverage by the Uganda Media Council. And Nicolas Opio, a well-known human rights defender and lawyer, was released by the Ugandan authorities on Wednesday. He was released on bail of $4,100. The activist is for recall accused of having received a grant through the proceeds of crimes to finance a legal organization, charges for which he will have to answer in court on January 11th. Pending the result expected on January 4 in the Central African Republic, the coalition of the democratic opposition is demanding the cancellation of the election, although considered credible by the observers. The Code 2020 denounces dysfunction. This demand comes after the formation had already requested the postponement of the election. It was also the opportunity for thousands of Central Africans to fulfill their civil duty for the first time, a duty that among young people, as you can see in this subject by Nina Sakaramoko, is taken very seriously.
On last Sunday, Central Africans went to the poll to elect their leaders. Among them were many young people who voted for the first time. Lorna Olongbo, a young student in the Faculty of Science, was determined to do her duty as a citizen.
This is important because it is a civic duty as a citizen who is called to vote. And first of all, I've reached the age of majority, the age decreed by my country for a citizen to be able to vote. I told myself that I must choose a good candidate, a good leader for the country, who will be able to defend the interests of the youth, who will be able to defend the interests of the population.
Lorna is convinced that youth have a great role to play in the development of the country thanks to their studies. Then they could be actors in making decisions for the socio-political and economic life of Central African Republic.
I invite all my peers, all people who have my age, not to play with studies because studies are very important. Young people must take their courage in both hands to study. That's so it is because we are the future of the country.
Lorna has been involved for more than 1 year with an association called the Peace Volunteers, which works as a mediator between communities. She was also accredited to be an observer during this voting day.
And that's it for this edition of the information. Thank you for following it. The news continues on Barry's TV.